does this movie get worse and worse and worse when I watch it? Hello, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I just got done rewatching. I honestly don't know how many times I've seen it at this point, but man, I just rewatched it. I'm talking about Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. This is a 1987 film that was directed by, what's this fucker's name? Sidney J. Furie. This person, whoever you are, you're a terrible director. Just hopefully you never directed anything after this. Just the level of stupidity that went into this directing. The plot is we see Superman, Clark Kent, who is doing what he does best, saving the people, trying to save the world. In fact, a big portion of the beginning of this movie is nuclear war. And what will Superman do as far as nuclear missiles? Will he get involved? Kids are writing him letters. Please do something about it, Superman. While that's going on, Lex Luthor once again breaks out of prison. Him, along with his doofus nephew, take a strand of Superman's hair from this museum, create a clone of Superman that doesn't look anything like him, called Nuclear Man, and with Nuclear Man takes the fight to Superman. Holy crap! This film is definitely in the top 2 or 3 worst superhero films that I've ever seen. It's damn near unwatchable. It's unbearable. It's atrocious. I cannot believe in a 9-year span from when the first Superman movie was to when this one happened, Christopher Reeve's last movie. It's sad, right? It's sad to think that this was his last movie that he acted in as the character. And I know a portion of this plot was his idea. He wanted the nuclear war aspect to be put into it. He wanted Superman to deal with real life issues. And in some sense, I appreciate that. I do like the fact that they brought that in and had him struggle with that. It was something that he really had to think about. I just wish that it played a bigger part of the story. Let's be honest. It maybe should have bookended the film, because it's a big moment when he does decide to take all of the missiles and throw them into the sun. And Christopher Reeve, he does a good enough job. It's not like he's half-assing it. It's not like he's just not trying. He is. It's just the character Superman, he does some things. He has some side plots that really make me scratch my head, really make no sense. Let's talk about Margot Kidder as Lois Lane. At this point, I don't care about Lois and Clark or Lois and Superman and their love, their relationship. They just retread almost the greatest hits of Lois and Superman, from her having to give him another interview, or Clark feeling down and upset about what he should do. So when Lois comes to see him, he pretends like he's about to jump off of the roof with Lois with him, turns into Superman, so reveals to her again that he's Superman, flies with her again, because we've done that already, takes her back there, says, "Thank you, Lois, you've really made me feel better," gives her the amnesia kiss again. Poor girl, her brain cells are deteriorating by the minute because of Superman and his amnesia kiss. That was terrible. Why would Superman do something like that? Toy and mess with this girl's brain. And then later on, when Superman gets sick, I'll get to that in a minute, but when he's sick and she comes to visit him, she's talking to him as if she knows he's Superman, and it's confusing. You're like, what's going on with these characters? There's a goofy scene of them trying to have a double date with Lois and Superman, Clark, and this, what's her name? Lacy Warfield, whatever, which the character could have been a lot more one-dimensional. She could have been more annoying and stuck up, but they subverted that. They actually made her somewhat likable. So I appreciated that, but still, it was dumb. All of it was dumb. The Daily Planet has this side plot of somebody coming in to buy out the company because he doesn't think that the papers are selling well enough, that the headlines aren't salacious enough, and it's this weird subplot that it's almost just more sad to see Jackie Cooper as Perry White get shortchanged, taken out of the movie for the majority of it, just to show up with a weird wrap-up, a weird resolution to this, making you wonder, why did we even do that in the first place? Jimmy Olsen, too, he's just here just to be here, but let's be honest, I guess that was his role for all of these movies. Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. Look, I would have preferred for him to come back in the last movie, so to bring him back here, I guess it makes sense. But at this point, I'm a little sick of Lex Luthor. I am. Maybe I appreciate the fact that he's a mad scientist now, like how he originally was in the comic. Like, you see him with the strand of Superman's hair, which is kind of silly to think about, like Superman would leave the museum that. But okay, he did. So they're using it. Him and his nephew, Lenny Luthor, is played by John Cryer, who I didn't even realize it was John Cryer until I looked it up just a few minutes ago. He was on 2.5 Men, this actor that I'm sure you'll recognize nowadays. I can't believe that's him, as young as he is, because he's so annoying. He has this Keanu Reeves surfer bro dude attitude that just makes you want to smack the kid in the face. Honestly, every time, like, where's Otis? Where's Miss Tessmacher? Why are we dealing with Lex's nephew? It's dumb. And his plan to make a clone called Nuclear Man. This Nuclear Man is so atrocious. Honestly, one of the worst villains I've ever seen in a superhero movie. If not the worst. This actor, he's not a real actor. He just has, I guess, a good look to him, so they casted him for that. His voice is voiced by Gene Hackman. So Gene Hackman doing the voice looks so unnatural and looks so terrible. And the aesthetics of this Nuclear Man doesn't even make much sense. He has these long fingernails that when he scratches Superman, Superman gets sick. And they don't even explain what's going on with him. He gets scratched, and then he gets sick, and then we cut to a scene of Lex, and then we cut back to Superman or Clark, and he has gray hair, he's balding, and he's desperately trying to clasp onto a green crystal, and you're like, what's going on? The crystal heals him, but it's so uneven. It's so just the structure, the story structure, everything is laid out so poorly. This Nuclear Man, the fights that he has with Superman, the horrible backdrop, like the effects are horrible. And maybe normally you could give a movie that takes place in 1987, that was made in 1987, you should give it a pass because of the effects and the times and what they were able to do. But 9 years previous to this, they gave us Superman the movie, which those effects were breakthrough. Those effects were revolutionary, making Superman fly, like it looked great. And so to regress so much, almost 10 years later, it's sad, it's pathetic. Maybe they lost budget, maybe they used budget for other type of effects, I don't know, but it's so shitty. It is. The moments when Nuclear Man's going around causing volcanoes to explode or causing landmarks to blow up and Superman's trying to stop it, it's like, why does Superman have telekinesis when he's rebuilding one of the landmarks? Since when? These producers, these directors, these filmmakers behind these movies haven't read a comic book. They don't know anything about these characters. To use Nuclear Man or to create Nuclear Man, just the idea of him with all of the other villains that you could have chose. Seriously? Seriously. I can't stress enough how horrible this movie is. Just really quick, I want to mention the fact that every single one of these Superman movies has used the same final shot of Christopher Reeves flying in space, and he smiles into the camera. It's a nice moment when you see it in the first one because it's the first time. Even the second movie, you're like, okay, fine, there's still... But the third movie does it, and the fourth movie uses the same shot where Chris Reeves is clearly a little older in this one, but they just use a shot of him younger. So weird and so awkward. And speaking of awkward, the Lacy, Lucy, whatever, Warfield character, Nuclear Man, all of a sudden, out of the blue, develops an obsession with her. So he takes her into space. Like, he grabs her. I don't know what he wants to do with her, but he's flying up with her. And all of a sudden, she's in space with him. And I mean, like, she doesn't have a mask. She doesn't have anything to breathe with. She's just in space, lollygagging around, not reacting to the fact that she shouldn't be able to breathe. And Superman just flies up and grabs her, and you see how far away Earth is, and he just has to take her back to Earth. And she's okay. What? The fight that Nuclear Man and Superman have on the moon is so terrible, not just because of the fight and the choreography's bad and all that, but you can literally see the black curtains in the background that's supposed to be space. They're moving. You see wires. There's so many shots and stunts of wires that they didn't bother to take out. This was released theatrically? Wow. Just wow. This movie sucks. I'm giving it a fuck you. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Superman 4, The Quest for Peace? I'd be shocked if anybody says that they liked it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!